Hello and welcome to Everyday Haiku. My name is Anne Dunnett. I'm a haiku poet. I'm also a graphic designer, and I follow a Zen approach to my design. I'm so excited that you're here today so you can learn a little bit about haiku, a little bit about me and my story, and why I'm so passionate about what I do. I have been writing and learning about haiku poetry for a little over 15 years now, and I have come to believe that haiku is an amazing and powerful tool for mindfulness. This simple and beautiful form of Japanese poetry is your invitation to be in the moment and connect with yourself. My haiku has been critiqued and reviewed by some of the best-known haiku poets in North America. A few of my haiku has received honorable mentions, and some of my haiku has been featured in haiku anthologies. I just recently published my first book, which is very exciting, which is based on my weekly newsletter that I will share with you a little bit later. For now, I'm going to take you back in time. The year was 1975. I was 10 years old, and there were 3 life-changing moments that took place for me at that young and impressionable age. The first one was I can remember having a very vivid and clear memory of looking deeply into my eyes in the bathroom mirror. I remember questioning who I was, why I was me and not someone else, why I had the parents that I have, and most importantly, I was really wondering why I was here. And then I was off doing something else, but this memory has always stuck with me all of my life. And I certainly didn't get the answers to these somewhat profound questions, but the fact that I was questioning them seemed to be quite significant. The second thing in that same year was that my grandmother, who I absolutely adored, we had a wonderful connection, and she inspired me every day when I was growing up. She was young at heart, she was really funny, and she was creative, and she was really way ahead of her time. She moved to Canada when she was in her late teens, and we used to drink tea together. She also used to drink scotch, but that's a whole other story. And in that year, when I was 10, she had her first book of poetry published, and she had a small section of haiku poetry in that book. And the third thing was that I had an elementary school English language arts assignment, which was to write haiku poetry. So, of course, I thought it would be a great idea to go to my grandma to get some help. It could have been cheating a little bit, but I thought that it was a smart thing to do. And this was the life-changing assignment that brought my purpose, haiku poetry, and the special relationship that I have with my grandma together. So I've got the haiku here that we wrote together, and I'm going to read it out loud. And I invite you to close your eyes while I read it, and this way you will be able to experience it a lot better. Deer walk through the twigs, the crackling leaves are falling, the smell of daffodils. Deer walk through the twigs, the crackling leaves are falling, the smell of daffodils. Now, just to be clear, when I was 10 years old, I certainly did not aspire to become a haiku poet. I wanted to be something much more practical. And my practicality still makes me laugh a little bit, because what I wanted to be was certainly not a practical path. I wanted to become an artist. So off I went to art school and became a graphic designer. And in my mid-20s, I wasn't really super satisfied or happy with my chosen profession. Something was really missing, and I wanted to have a lot more meaning and purpose in my career and my life. So I decided to enter a craft fair. And it was my very first craft fair. And I had no idea what I was going to sell or create. And then I had a little light bulb moment, and I decided to make haiku cards and other art pieces out of my grandmother's poetry. Of course, I asked her if I could get permission to use her art, her poetry. She was super excited that I wanted to do this. And it was really in that time where the poetry and the art came together, and I was getting closer to my purpose. And it wasn't until years later that I actually picked up a pen and started to write my own haiku. And in 2006, I created Everyday Haiku, and that was when I started to write. And I was really only going with what I had learned back in that elementary school assignment, which was based on this 5-7-5 syllable count. And that's what most people know about haiku. And then I ended up joining the Vancouver haiku group. And that was when I really learned a lot about haiku and realized that there's so much more to this beautiful form of poetry. And I became really interested in the philosophy behind what haiku represents. And it's really about nature and the seasons and being present and being in the moment. And then I carried on with doing a lot more craft fairs, and I was still freelancing as a graphic designer. And I was finding that a lot of people weren't completely understanding what haiku was. So I really became inspired and compelled to create a little course that would help clear up a lot of these misconceptions about what haiku is. And then a couple of years ago, this went further into doing some workshops. And now I'm just evolving with all of it. Now I'm doing these little videos and other programs and adding more design pieces to what I'm doing. And my passion is really to share with people what haiku really is and how they can bring it into their lives and slow down. Like, a lot of people are finding that they're wanting to have a slower pace. And haiku offers a moment to quiet your mind and to just go into stillness. And we need that. And it's really almost a lifestyle of simplicity. So I've been able to come full circle and connect back to my little 10-year-old self by living with purpose. And really, my true calling in life is to be doing this. So thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the video and got to learn a little bit more about haiku. If you would like to bring more haiku into your life, please have a look at my website. It's everydayhaiku.ca, where you can see I have a newsletter, a weekly newsletter that I send out. People love it. It's short and sweet. And I also have the book that I self-published recently, which is based on the newsletters. I'm also on Instagram if you want to find me there, and I am creating more offers and programs, as well as incorporating haiku into design projects. And if anybody has any desire to create something and want some help with some design pieces that are very Zen feeling, I would love to help you. So please feel free to reach out, and enjoy the rest of your day. And thank you for being here.